Good evening, friends, and welcome to another edition of Crime Time with DutyRon and Ed Wallace. You know the drill. We're retired New York City police detectives and 9/11 World Trade Center first responders. Hey, friends, if you like all things true crime related from the police detective's perspective, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you get all things DutyRon and Ed Wallace when we go live or upload another video. Hey, tonight we're going to be talking to you about Jennifer Soto. Why is she not being held accountable for what happened to her daughter? Why is she not facing any type of child neglect charges? We're not talking about her being charged for the death and so forth of Madeline Soto, but we certainly are outraged that nothing's been levied against this woman, and she's shown that she's been complicit and that she has not taken the steps to protect her daughter. Ed, we got a lot to talk about. How you doing tonight? Where the heck are you?
I'm in my house in New Jersey.
Okay, excellent, excellent. Well, thank you for joining everybody here in the live chat. We got a lot to dive into, and we're going to have a special guest the second half. The sergeant that I worked with in Fugitive, Amazing Aunt, is going to join us in the second half of the show to give us a female's perspective. And she is a Latino, and we want to talk to her about some of the makeup here as it pertains to the Soto family. And I want to get her thoughts on it. And, you know, being a retired NYPD sergeant, I think we'll get a lot of good stuff from Amazing Aunt. But Ed, you know, like, I wanted to quickly talk to you before we say thank you to the Patreon supporters and everyone who supports us here. We really thank you guys. I wanted to talk to you about Vinnie Politan on Court TV. I believe it was last night or early today. Was talking about the time of death for Madeline Soto. You're a crime scene unit CSI expert. You worked in the medical examiner's office. I want to knock this out and talk about this right up front. How, with Madeline Soto being recovered 5 days later in the Florida heat, out in St. Cloud, a considerable distance away, 5 days in the heat and the cold temperatures at night, heat during the day. I believe on Friday when she was recovered late in the day, it was 89 degrees. I remember that temperature because I was watching it live when they recovered her. Can you talk to the audience a little bit about how they determine an approximate? It's not a science. It's not where they're going to get it to the minute without an eyewitness. But could you talk to the audience a little bit about that, Ed?
Yeah, but normally they use on fresh bodies recovered immediately. They'll use rigor mortis, liver mortis. They'll use body core temperatures. They'll use vitreous fluids. They'll use a bunch of different things. But in this case, due to the fact that it was 5 days later and various stages of decomposition, it's going to be difficult to rely on those normal methods. And so what's going to end up happening here will be heavily relied upon by the video evidence and the infotainment system evidence from his vehicle.
Also, we would be looking at things like statements from roommates, as we heard, you know, in recent findings that the Angelica roommate gave a statement to the police. And there's more than just her in that home. And I'm sure everybody was interviewed and asked questions as it pertains to the night, that Sunday night into Monday morning in February, that fateful evening. Those interviews are crucial in coming up with the last sign of life or the last known. We got to rely on her mom, Jennifer Soto, who has given inconsistent statements. Those of you in the chat, how many of you guys are on board with what we're saying here? It's really hard for us to take what Jennifer Soto is telling the investigators when she's flip-flopping and she's talking about taking psychotropic medication for anxiety and so forth. And the roommate even said in her statement that when Jennifer Soto is out, she's out because she's medicating herself. That's all she talks about in these interviews. Ed?
Right. And there's also an interview with the victim's girlfriend who said that she texts every morning and she didn't text. And so you have that time frame. So, you know, it's investigation 101, homicide investigation 101. Who was the last person to see the victim alive? Okay. And so right now, the only two people that we have are Stephan and the victim's mother.
Correct. And look, we listened to a little bit of video before we started tonight. There is the security guard at the gate who gave some valuable information about Madeline Soto. He described her as slumped over with her mouth hanging open. Is that indicative of someone obviously who's passed away? Ed, I know I'm asking these questions. I know the answers to them, but I'm leading you in for the audience. Mouth hanging open in the car.
It's consistent with possibly being dead, but if someone is sleeping and has their mouth open, that's also possible. But all the indications are that she was dead.
Yeah, and I found it interesting that Stephan Stearns, just a week or so prior to this murder, this homicide, he Googled types of drugs that he could use to incapacitate someone, to make somebody not combative or not conscious without killing them. And he did those Google searches on his devices. And that is telling here, because we always look to say that, I mean, everybody is talking about this. How did he kill her? Did he kill her? I mean, we know the method, but where did he kill her? Did he kill her inside? Did he make her incapacitated to where she passed out and then take her out of the house over his shoulder, take her out of the house, bring her in the car, and then strangle her? We'll never know because he's not going to tell the truth. And that's the fact.
Right. And now we're getting more information on that it is a possible strangulation.
Yes. Yes. I just want to show some of the folks here. I just have a little bit of clip. It's just going to show the inside of the home. I know we've all seen it. And then we're going to get into Jennifer Soto, some of her statements and some of the things that Stephan Stearns said. And we're going to break it down for you guys.
13-year-old Madeline Soto lived in this condominium with her mom, Jennifer. Her mom's boyfriend, Stephan Stearns, occasionally stayed here too. These photographs taken by crime scene investigators show the place where prosecutors say Stearns sexually molested the teen and then murdered her.
Very loving, very loving. This girl knows nothing but love here in this house. She hardly ever hears the word no. Double-edged sword that is.
The condo here at Venetian Bay Villages in Kissimmee is owned by Madeline Soto's grandfather. Court records indicate he rented out rooms in his condo to Madeline's mother, as well as at least 2 other tenants. Prosecutors believe evidence found inside that condo will help them bring justice for Madeline. When you enter the condo, the kitchen is on the left. On the right is the living room. In the living room, behind that divider wall, was Madeline's makeshift bedroom, which had a desk, a dresser, and a TV. Although there's also a bed, Jennifer Soto told detectives her daughter would not spend the night here.
She'll hang out there during the day, but she never sleeps there. She always sleeps with me.
I mean, very, very odd and off-putting, Ed, when you look at the residence. There's that bedroom number 4. Stephan Stearns was not living in that home for a good 3 months. You give your daughter a room with a divider, and obviously she's saying that she slept with her at night. But if there's nobody there, in bedroom number 4, why not give her her privacy when Stephan wasn't there? And unbeknownst, supposedly or allegedly to Jennifer, she had no knowledge of what was going on at all. But she did make a statement saying that she feared that this would be a Woody Allen situation. Ed, did you hear that? I mean, I thought it was just unbelievable.
Well, she did say she was always on the lookout, for Stephan doing inappropriate things. So she must have, somewhere in there, she must have had a gut feeling about something.
Right.
Otherwise, why are you on the lookout for this? If you trust him like that, why are you on the lookout for it?
And we're going to hear her say that she watched her daughter like a hawk when she was pressed. The one and only interview that we witnessed, that we all saw, everybody saw this with our own eyes, those 2 detectives that had her in the soft room, as it was labeled, they really laced into her. And it was the only time I saw her really pushed and pressed. And she said, I watched her like a hawk. Lady, if you watched her like a hawk, I'd hate to see the times that you really didn't watch her, because you didn't watch her at all. How many of you guys in the chat were outraged by that statement? How many of you in the chat here witnessed it? Just put a me in the chat. Just put a me in the chat if you witnessed or listened to her say that and was repulsed by it. I mean, this crime that was perpetrated against Madeline Soto was horrific.
Yeah.
Was horrific.
And then, during the interview, she said things like this, where Karen puts up here, she didn't think Stephan was evil.
Yeah.
All right. That he was that evil. So sex is okay with your child, your minor child. With your boyfriend having sex with your minor child is not evil? I don't understand that.
Yeah. And we went over this in our last live stream 3 weeks ago. We talked about the charges that could be levied against her as it pertains to the child neglect in the state of Florida. And one of those charges, which we'll show later on, comes with a 30-year sentence, maximum sentence, 30 years. All right, let's listen to this and get further outraged. If you're outraged in the chat, please put in the chat outraged. I'd like to see how many folks here are outraged by this.
And then the rare occasion upstairs. But most of the time it's with me.
This is Jennifer Soto's bedroom, located on the first floor. Jennifer Soto told detectives she often shared the room with her daughter and her boyfriend.
A lot of times we will sleep together in the king size bed, all three of us.
But Jennifer Soto says she would occasionally send her daughter upstairs to sleep in a guest bedroom with Stearns. That room has one bed in the corner and locks on the door. This is where Stearns...
Ed, I talked to you before we went live about these locks on the door. What would be the purpose of needing locks? As this looks like something you would see in a hotel, no?
Right. And they're treating the house like a single room occupancy hotel. Okay. And that's what's happening. There's two other roommates, non-family members living in this house with Stephan, the mother, and the victim.
And how much of a turnover did they have over the years? These crimes perpetrated onto Madeline Soto are alleged to have happened on paper that they can verify till 2020. But what about all the undocumented crimes perpetrated against poor Madeline Soto that were not on his Google Drives, that were not on his phones? How much did he actually try to and succeed at deleting? I don't know. Maybe he didn't delete anything because he took that drive back to Northport and was unsuccessful in signing into his Google account at his parents' home when they were in the hotel, when they were taking over this home and doing the forensic scrub. They stayed at a hotel courtesy of mom and pop, Chris Stearns and the wife. They were at the hotel, and Stephan snuck out at 4:45 in the morning and took a ride back to Northport to try to delete his Google account. Unsuccessful, thank God. But yeah, just so many questions here. And we look at this bedroom, and the 9mm was inside this nightstand right here, with no gun lock on it, just in a holster inside that nightstand.
Stearns reportedly spent the night with Madeline just before she was reported missing.
Is it normal for both of them to sleep in the same room?
Sometimes when I really need a good night's sleep, I will send them upstairs. 2 additional bedrooms rented out by other tenants are also upstairs. Detectives say they found nude photographs of one of those tenants on Stearns' cell phone. According to investigators, Stearns had placed his phone under the tenant's door, similar to this, and snapped.
Look at this freaking creep, Ed. This is what he was doing. I mean, obviously this isn't his phone. They're just making a demonstration here, but this is how creepy he was. He was doing this to the tenants.
Images of the naked woman in her bedroom. Detectives say Stearns' phone also contained images of him sexually molesting Madeline. According to authorities, bedding from Madeline's makeshift room downstairs can be seen in the background of those molestation videos. Detectives say this pair of men's boxer shorts found in a laundry basket in Madeline's room also appear in the sex abuse images. Crime scene investigators collected this notebook, which has sexually explicit drawings that are sketched on the same paper as algebra equations.
I mean, some of this you can't, it's blurred out, but you could just imagine what these drawings depict, and it's not anything good, folks. And this is poor Madeline's notebooks that she'd bring back and forth to school. I mean, this to me was riveting to see this. It just breaks your heart, because this is many, many years of abuse that Madeline had to go through. And I'm starting to think that maybe at some point she thought this was normal. Like, because if she didn't go and scream from the rooftops or reach out to people, and if she did, shame on those people for not coming forward. But like, God only knows what happened and how many times and how often this was going on. It's just, it's sickening. It's sickening.
Paper as algebra equations.
On Sunday night, y'all went to bed around 11, and the reason that you sent her upstairs with Stephan was because you had work in the morning, was it? Or you just started a new job?
I just started a new job and I haven't been sleeping well.
Oh.
I take psychiatric meds every night.
Every night, psychiatric meds for bipolar disorder, but she also talked about a lot of other different medications when she was being interviewed. That was kind of like her crutch with these detectives, Ed, when they were squeezing her. She was like, if I don't take my meds, I'm not going to be right. I need to take my meds. And that was one of the things she emphasized that night, that Sunday night, is that she needed to get a good night's sleep, and she needed to take her meds and get a good night's sleep because she started a new job.
Right. And that was the reason she gave for not being at the birthday party, was because she started a new job and she was in training. And so she couldn't take off.
Oh, hell no.
My bipolar disorder, and if I don't take them the right way, eat, and go to sleep on time,
They don't work.
they don't. Sunday, I was not myself. So I asked them, like, hey, I need to be medicated. I need to sleep and take care of the morning duties so I can go.
Is it me, or does it just seem like she makes excuses for that? Don't forget, she knows this is a serious issue right now, and she's doing everything to deflect the blame away from her. Like, as a mother, she's not owning, like, hey, I screwed up here, and she thinks that it's okay that she's here. She's going to tell them, I sent them up to bedroom number 4 to go to sleep so I can get a good night's sleep.
And sleep.
According to investigators, Jennifer Soto sent a text message to Stearns at 11:39 that read, "Make sure she goes to bed right now." About a minute later, Stearns replied, "She's built her nest and she's settling in now."
What time did you wake up? I'm going to say around 8 o'clock in the morning. Stephan came into the room.
When Jennifer Soto woke up, she says she thought Madeline might still be in the condo.
I heard noises in the kitchen, but I'm not sure,
Not sure who it was
who
exactly.
it was exactly. Yeah, it could have been any of the roommates.
Jennifer Soto told detectives she never actually saw Madeline that morning and assumed Stearns was taking her to school.
I had an appointment. I had a doctor's appointment at like 10:15, but they took a while. And then by the time they did my blood work and whatever, I think I got home somewhere between 11 and 11:15.
Okay. When you got back, was Stephan here?
I'm pretty sure he was, yeah.
Sadly, by then, detectives believed Madeline was already dead. But where was she and what happened to her? Before investigators could answer those questions,
Anybody find it odd? And I see our good friend, Amazing Aunt, said about the nest. She built her nest. Ed, I saw you make like a face when that came on.
Yeah, because later on in an interview, you find out that she slept in her own bedding. So she made a nest of her bedding. She wouldn't share the same sheets as and the bedspread as her mother and Stephan.
Ugh. Despicable, just horrific. Let's let the rest of this play, and then we got a couple more things to talk about.
they discovered Stearns took a mysterious round-trip drive to Southwest Florida early in the morning.
So he took that mysterious round-trip drive, as we know what happened and the fate for Madeline Soto. And this case has, through interview and interrogation, has given us such a great insight. But there's so many unanswered questions. The main unanswered question is, when did he commit this crime? Where did he commit this crime? Was it in the house? Was it in the car? And for me, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say, I believe that he drugged her to make her incapacitated in that home. He made her go to sleep, but she wasn't dead. He got her out into that car and committed that crime inside that Lincoln MKZ. That's my thoughts. Ed, I don't know about you, but
well, she was, if it's in fact true that she was strangled to death, manually strangled, okay, hands around the neck and strangled, why would you need to incapacitate her to do that? Okay, something happened. I believe there was something that occurred in that bedroom that night after her birthday, and she wasn't putting up with any more of this. I don't think so. I think something happened. He threatened her, or she threatened him rather. She's going to give him up, and because to strangle somebody is very personal, okay, and it's up close and in person, and it takes a lot of force, okay, to do that. Now, I'd expect if she was manually strangled that her hyoid bone would be broken. So there's a lot of violence here. It's not like Hollywood, what you see on television. It takes quite some time to manually strangle somebody to death.
Right.
Okay. And there's going to be all kinds of telltale signs of this particular hemorrhaging in the lips, in the eyes, on the tongue, and so forth. So
to prove that is exactly how she succumbed to her to lose her life. I'm going to tell you why I think that he incapacitated her in that home. Number one, there's roommates and there's people in that house. There's others that we didn't hear about in these interviews, right? So if he tried to do something to her inside that house and she started screaming or kicked him in the nuts or got away from him and fought and got away, he would be busted. So this is just and again, this is speculation. I don't like to do this, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say this because I really feel in my heart that this is what happened, that he wanted her quiet. And by Googling 1 week or more before this incident, the drugs that are needed to make somebody incapacitated, that means he had the pre-planned, he premeditated, and he thought about this. And he thought about silencing her. And then if he got her in the car and she screamed, nobody could hear her. So if she was incapacitated and she might have and came and woke up in the car, he would say he's safe. It's just him and her. In the house, there's the mom, who we know now is a dead sleeper, but the mom and any of the other roommates. So to me, it's plausible, and it's I strongly believe it. And I'm not saying that this is Bible, folks, but I have a feeling that that's how we're going to hear about this in court. It's how it went down. And that's just my thoughts, Ed.
Yeah, well, we need to see the toxicology, and it'll come out in trial, what was in her system. I mean, like Casey Anthony, she went out and Googled, Benadryl and how to knock out her baby with the Benadryl. Right. And, if you give too much, you create an overdose, which was in fact the case with her.
No two crimes are the same. As we know, these psychos do things and they have their own thought process. Let me know what you think in the chat. If you think that I'm off base, put a 1 in the chat. If you agree with me, put a 2. I'm just curious to how many people feel that might be. I'm not saying this is exactly what happened. I'm just saying this is a thought that I have to say. If you agree with me, press a 2. If you don't, press a 1, and I'll let you guys go on that. Ed,
no doubt there's plenty of medications in that household that would have been able to knock her out.
Right. Yeah, tons of medications available to them.
Yeah.
So let's take a listen to this because we're going to hear Jennifer Soto. Well, we're going to hear Anjanette Levy, our good friend. She's going to say that Jennifer Soto basically thought she was going to have a Woody Allen situation on her hands. This was difficult to listen to as well. That face. Oh.
He was a good guy.
Maddie Soto's mother, Jen Soto, quizzed by detectives in a newly released interview days after Maddie goes missing.
I've always told him that my biggest fear is that this would turn into a Woody Allen situation.
I'm breaking down the details, revealed the questions asked, and how Jen Soto reacted when she was told trying to find her. Where could Maddie be? The police were hoping to find her alive and safe. She didn't show up for school the morning of February 26th after Jen Soto's on-again, off-again boyfriend, Stephan Stearns, claimed he dropped Maddie off at a church down the street from her school. Stephan Stearns, of course, is now charged with sexually abusing Maddie for years and murdering her. An Orange County Sheriff's deputy's body camera recorded Jen Soto reporting her daughter missing that evening.
What's the name of the single agent?
Madeline Soto, age 13. I'm trying to get.
That was the Thursday of that week. The detectives talked to Jen Soto about how she knew what Maddie was wearing the morning she disappeared.
When the deputies first talked to you, when you were reporting her missing,
Yeah.
you remember writing a statement?
Yes.
Okay. In that statement, you say you saw Maddie.
I saw. I know. I misremembered. I didn't see her.
Okay.
I wanted to.
Did she just say she misremembered, Ed?
She did say that, yes, and then later on she's going to say that she tried to say that the reason that was it, she was told to write this out, and when she was writing it out, she wrote it this way.
Unbelievable.
I believe I saw her, but I didn't.
But when you're talking,
She believed that she saw her, but she didn't.
to the deputy on his body cam, you describe what she's wearing.
Because she had picked it out the night before.
Bullshit.
I told her to set up her clothes the night before to have it ready, so she was ready to.
How many of you guys think she's full of shit?
Oh, hell no.
I would say that's an oh hell yes. We got to get an oh hell yes button. That's not working.
Now, remember, Jen Soto said she was sleeping that morning, and Stephan Stearns later woke her up. So, of course, they're wondering how she knew what Maddie was wearing. So, Jen Soto said she knew what Maddie was wearing because she didn't see her that morning, but because Maddie had picked out her clothes the evening before. The conversation then turned to Stephan and Jen's sex life. Now, this is probably an important point, given the allegations of sexual abuse in this case.
Now, the relationship that you had with Stephan, you told me that you haven't had sex in a while.
Yeah.
When you guys were together and intimate with each other, this may be a little uncomfortable, but something that we have to discuss is when you guys were intimate with each other. A lot of people call it vanilla sex.
Mm-hmm.
Some people call it, whatever kind of sex you want to call it. Mm-hmm. How would you describe you and Stephan when you guys were intimate?
Pretty vanilla. I would say just missionary and oral, but nothing more than that.
Now, keep in mind, this conversation is happening.
You said,
I mentioned
she said missionary and oral.
Why is the news agency showing this footage right here that is the grandmother's where she works, right? The grandmother works her
mom,
right? The grandmother works in this medical facility, right? Or insurance facility. That conversation did not occur there. That conversation with law enforcement didn't occur there. That was in an interview room.
Correct. This is them just putting it out. Like they're just using.
I mean, because if you just saw that with any context, you would think that, man, that detective or that officer got some set that he's having that kind of questioning in front of all of these strange people in the lobby of this building.
Right. Many people might have thought that, but for the folks who are following this case closely, they know where that was said. It's just, here's the crime fix there. That's just the people behind the scenes thinking it would be cool to just have pictures running in the background. Amazing Aunt, she agrees. She's waiting in the waiting room, and I'm going to add her in a few seconds. Let's just look at the rest of this play.
So these detectives are clearly trying to figure out whether Jen Soto was allowing the abuse or whether she's involved in Maddie's disappearance. The conversation turned to Stearns' claim that he accidentally factory reset his phone the morning he claimed he dropped Maddie off at school. Take a listen.
He discussed having to reset his phone even though he didn't want to, or no, not reset his phone. He discussed needing to update his phone because he's been avoiding an update for so long. But
I think she made a Freudian slip.
Oh, yeah. I was waiting for you to say that, Ed. I was waiting. Let's listen to that again. Kitty Cat Thank you for being here. Thank you for subscribing. And thank you to everyone who hit the thumbs up. It's free to do it. For those of you who haven't, please continue to hit the thumbs up while we're showing this stuff. Let's listen to Jennifer Soto's Freudian slip.
So long, but I think it's time to do it. And I said, needing to update his onto, or no, not reset.
Listen.
He discussed having to reset his phone even though he didn't want to, or no, not reset his phone.
Having to reset his phone even though he didn't want to.
Thanks for playing. Yeah. Shit. That was definitely a Freudian slip, and it sounds like it was discussed. All right. A part of his plan for the cover-up.
Right. Yeah, that's something that they discussed, and she forgot because of her, as she calls it, her what did she say? Jello brain or something like that. She gets Jello brain.
Yeah. God. You know, later on when Stephan is being questioned about the party, he slips up too. He starts to say, "I wasn't invited," and then he stops. Because he was about to say, "I wasn't invited."
Right. And she admits her mom and her side of the family does not like Stephan. They never have. And they haven't liked him since they were together. And that's probably for a pretty damn good reason. And I would love to hear the mother's interview. I don't know if they'll release that, but you know that Jennifer Soto's mother was interviewed. We just haven't, they're not going to release the shop to us. The trial hasn't even started. And I think we have a court date coming up. I have it written down somewhere. October, is it the 7th or the 14th? Let me know in the chat. I know you guys, I have so many notes all over the place here. But there's something coming up in October, in this month for this case.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but Maddie's mom needs to be locked up.
Yeah, 100%.
He discussed needing to update his phone because he's been avoiding an update for so long. But I think it's time to do it. And I said, just do it. Stop avoiding it. Just do it.
Yeah.
And he started that and then walked through the update. He's like,
honey, just go ahead and do it. The police are here. Maddie's missing. Just go ahead. Just factory reset it. Go for it. Thank you, Lewis. October 14th. I thought I was right. I said either the 7th or the 14th. I'm still trying to find it.
oh my God, I don't know what button I pressed, but I just factory erased my entire phone. And I said, that was stupid. How'd you manage to do that? He goes, I don't know. I wasn't paying attention and I just clicked the button and it happened. And I said, oh, okay, that's unfortunate.
Oh hell no.
Yeah.
Or did he tell you he meant to reset his phone?
No, he didn't tell me he meant to reset his phone. He acted like and said that it was an accident.
Mm-hmm.
Did you find that odd?
Of course I find that odd. That's suspicious as hell.
I don't think anybody is buying the accidentally factory reset the phone explanation. Now, the detectives were also very interested in this whole thing about Jen Soto, Maddie, and Stephan Stearns sleeping in the same bed together. And then at times, Maddie and Stephan sleeping in bed together alone.
How long has that been going on?
Okay, so...
And how many of us can believe her answers here? You hear her, she's like, so, and she's trying to think, what would be reasonable for me to say? And she says something like, I believe June. It started in June, but of the previous year. But don't forget, there was a period of time that he wasn't there, around 3 or 4 months, where he was MIA. I think it went from December up, or maybe November, up until in February on the 25th. So he just reappeared the night of that party. He wasn't there, staying there on a regular basis.
Are you playing sound? Because nothing is playing.
I'm going to say back in June. It was primarily the three of us sleeping in bed together all the time.
And why? How did that start?
Maddie has always slept in the bed with me.
Mm-hmm.
She's always slept in my room. Only when we lived in that apartment in Northport did she have her own bedroom,
mm-hmm.
and we could afford for her to have her own room. So that was the only time she's actually had her own room. Here, she's always shared a room with me. When she was a baby, she had her own bedroom here for a few years. But once she got older and we started having roommates and all that stuff, she started just staying with me in my bedroom. Stephan, during the times that we did live with Stephan, it would be the three of us in this bed down here, down in the master bedroom. It wasn't until June of last year that we had broken up, and I said, okay, I don't want to sleep in the same bed with you. Please move upstairs. And he moved upstairs.
Correct me if I'm wrong. When you break up with somebody, you throw them out of your house. You tell them, you can't stay in my house anymore. We're not together. So she breaks up with him and says, oh, go to bedroom number 4 with the big locks on it and everything like that. Just go hang out up there. I mean, who in the chat here and Ed, do you think that makes any sense?
No, well, nothing about this makes sense.
This whole story is ridiculous.
This is totally out of the norm.
I know our guest, Amazing Ant, has a lot to say about this. Let me just speed this up. I want to move it forward a little bit. But
them, they go Sunday night, they go sleep.
I was ever comfortable with it.
But you told them to go Sunday night to go sleep together.
I did. That was a selfish move on my part because I wanted a good night's sleep. I didn't want her kicking me or rolling onto me.
So she said she was suspicious of it or never felt comfortable with it, but she said it was a selfish move on her part because she wanted to get a good night's sleep, and she would just throw her daughter to the wolf who's been raping her for God only knows how long.
Since she was 8.
Since 2020, documented on the Google Drives and on the phone, but dating back to when she was in her single-digit years. So sickening, so disheartening, so all of the above. This case makes me sick when I talk about it. I don't even enjoy covering this type of case because I want to see, obviously, justice for this victim, Madeline Soto, but I know, and you and I both know, that Stephan Stearns is going to fry for this. They have such an overwhelming mountain of evidence against this monster, this savage. But when you look at her, when you look at the mom, it just makes me sick. When I see the picture of the mother and how stupid she's being and how dumb she's playing intentionally and like using her illness as a crutch as to not be a good mother, it just doesn't bode right with me, you know?
It's just more proof that any knucklehead can have a child, but not everybody can be a parent, and certain people shouldn't be parents. Okay.
God, really, really sickening. I'm going to take this off because I got our good friend hanging out here. I told her to come at 9. So as soon as she gives me the thumbs up, I'm going to add in Amazing Ant, retired NYPD sergeant, hanging out at her mom's house. Thank you for coming on with Ed and I. How are you doing?
Hi, can you hear me?
I can.
Yes.
Ah, perfect. My mom has better technology than me. She's a Zoomer.
Right.
Okay.
Hi,
So-
Ed. Welcome back.
Amazing Tia, welcome.
Hi. Did you say Tia or teeth?
No, Tia as in Spanish ant.
Yeah, I know. Okay.
Yeah.
Hi. Thank you for having me, gentlemen.
So
yeah, I didn't want to call you Tio because my partner here called you Latino instead of a Latina.
Ah, you caught that. That's okay. I can identify as both in New York.
there you go. Good answer.
What happened with the tooth?
Line of duty surgery. The crew last week heard about it, so I won't replay it. I'm on the path to healing. I just look like a Halloween costume.
Yeah, she didn't get her teeth knocked out. She had a line of duty injury. She's recently retired, and this is the surgery that's to correct the situation that's happening in her mouth. Anyways, I want to jump right into this.
Yep.
You know this case well. You've been watching it. You said that your mom's even been following it. Madeline Soto, by her own admission, her mom says that she allowed her boyfriend, who's not a part of the family, this is not her husband, this is a boyfriend, to go and sleep with the daughter. Is this something that's like outrageous, or is this something that's like normal in a community somewhere?
Latinos.
Mars? Yeah, I didn't even want to say it, but like
I'll say it. It's unfiltered. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
By the way, when I look like I'm smiling, everyone, I'm just trying to cover up the surgery. I really want to go like be surprised, but I have stitches. So in my mind right now, I'm going and I'm upset. So I'm going to go like this when I'm upset. So when I heard about this and Ronnie said, do you want to hop on? It was last minute. My parents had just walked in. I surprised them. I'm out of state. And they wanted to watch Wheel of Fortune and Family Feud, whatever, one of the shows. And I told them, no, I have to hop on. My father retired from the city and my mother at a well-known hospital that treated all the COVID patients. My dad doesn't follow this. So he's, microphone, Zoom, but he goes, what are you doing? He goes, we're going to have family time. I said, no, I'm hopping on. So my mom knows. She's trying to tell him, Junior, Jennifer Soto. He goes, what is this about? Once she said this one statement, the mother's boyfriend was sleeping with the daughter. My father's eating his Chinese food, dropped the fork, got upset. And I even told him, come on the podcast, Dad. Tell them what you just told me. My dad went like this. He goes, unbelievable. And he's, devout Christian man. And he said the word, he dropped the bomb, and he doesn't know the story. He doesn't know the story. So let's start with that. My dad doesn't know anything about this.
Right.
My parents worked for Elmhurst Hospital, New York City. My mom worked for psych. She was a secretary, but she worked with psychiatrists. My dad worked midnights, and this ties into this one part of Jennifer Soto. We grew up poor or, basic. We lived in a small 1-bedroom duplex, and it was 1 bedroom. My dad took the midnight shift so that we could have our own bed. And when we were young, we slept with my mom. But then when we were school age, my mom was on the couch, sofa bed. My dad was at work. And on the weekends when he was off, he had sofa bed with mom. We had our own, whatever room. And we never, ever even saw my dad in his pajamas. Okay. We were raised low income. I was also raised in Puerto Rico. I have family who live in the same exact town where Jennifer Soto lives. I have an uncle who we all have that crazy uncle in the family. Mm-hmm. My uncle is off. I love him. He's a veteran, but he has chemical issues. And he called me from Kissimmee and told me, you better tell them I never slept with my kids. I never slept with my grandchildren, and I never will over my dead body.
It's not normal. It's just not normal.
But people try to play the race card, Ronnie, and they try to say, oh, I'm going to speak, and I don't want to offend people in the group. But as Puerto Ricans, I'm going to try to identify as closely as possible to this family. Low income Puerto Ricans with the crazy uncle. We've never been exposed to this family dynamic of the sleeping part. Mm-hmm. Even with my mother, when we were school age, when we were old enough to know that you don't sleep with other people except yourself and the person you end up with down the road, my mother didn't sleep with us. And my mother never summons us to sleep anywhere. In fact, we were not allowed to go to sleepovers, and we had to come home, and we could not sleep at our friend's house except my one friend that I'm still best friends with. So let's identify that. My mother chimed in, but she won't come on. She's shy, which is, I'm being facetious. She said when she worked in psychiatry, when a parent presented with bipolar or schizophrenia in New York, I can't speak for Florida, but Florida is a little bit more proactive.
And Jen Soto is admitting that she suffers from these two.
I had them see that little clip, the trailer. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
She's admitting she's sitting like this. I'm on my medicine. I'm bipolar. Even watching her, I was getting, I wanted to, get physical with her. When she was saying all that, my mother said, wait a minute, if she really is on this medication, any psychiatrist, psychologist would have done a home assessment. My mother worked in childcare her whole life. And you guys know this, but let's forget about us being cops. For the public out there, you all know this. You have a very intelligent group of people who I wish were on this jury. I love your show because of the subscribers and the people who watch. Everyone in this group can all agree that you don't have to be a doctor to know if someone is on this level of treatment and care and cannot hold a job and cannot articulate a lot of things, as we know, then they need home visits and home supervision. So let's play devil's advocate. Let's go there. Then the doctors let her down. The state let her down. The schools, I was taking notes, the schools with the notebooks let her down. But let's just focus on the medicine.
Preach it, sister. Preach it.
I'm sorry. I'm just so upset when I started watching this again.
Preach it. Preach it.
I literally, my dad had to get me ice. He's like, calm down, calm down. All right.
Hey, Aunt, we love this because we don't have to talk. We just get to listen to you.
Come a day, mama. Come a day.
Okay, let me breathe. And I haven't spoken in 3 weeks. I've been stitched up, so I'm making up for lost time. Okay.
And I love that you agreed to come on, with the stitches and everything. You're awesome. I love you.
Well, you know what? We are cops for life. We are humans for life. And we have to protect Maddie Soto in her passing on. Someone said in the chat, thank God she's out of this misery. And it sounds horrible to say that, but the person who said, I forgot the name, you're right. Scriptures say that anyone who hurts a child, it's like having a millstone around the neck. And God, that's like the ultimate crime, however you believe. Even in the universe, for people who don't believe in God, karma, that's the ultimate karma. So in Maddie's world, we're going to defend her now. The psych eval, if she really is that sick. Now, we all know as us cops talk, and I don't want to offend anyone, that we all know she was bullshitting the detectives. And you're detectives. I'm not. I'm a sergeant.
She's using it as a crutch.
She's using it as a crutch. And what do we know as criminals? They always want to outsmart the professionals. And that's why you're detective first grade, and that's why you were fugitive enforcement getting these bad guys. You guys know the mind of a criminal. You don't have to be a therapist. No offense to the therapist. So she was playing the wrong card. But let's talk about something you glossed over. And I won't be long about this, but this bothered me. Speaking of the culture, remember my crazy uncle?
Yeah.
Everyone told me as a kid that he was sick. Now, it wasn't until I worked with DutyRon in the Warrant Division that I got a phone call that my sick uncle had a little problem with the police. So I'll leave it at that. You can all figure it out. And that night when we went out there, I was working in warrants. When we went out there to go find the sick uncle, I'm thinking I'm going to the hospital, right? Because where do sick people go?
Right,
Hospital.
right.
No, he was in a jail cell. That was a night I found out that he wasn't sick in the way I thought. I found out he was an addict. Maddie's family protected this abuse. They had a little relationship. Stephan had a little breakup. No one wanted him there because they all knew what he really was and they all knew what he was about, but no one spoke up. So I got to be honest, I'm kind of a little annoyed with the family, and maybe in a year from now, we'll do another podcast on this, DutyRon. We spoke about going deeper into this type of stuff from personal story. I'll tell you guys another time, but the family knew, guys, and Jennifer knew.
Not just Jennifer's family.
His
Steve's family, Stephan's family knew. They paid off people. They enabled this behavior, right? They didn't give him the help he needed.
Bingo, Yahtzee, 100%. Let's listen to Stephan Stern be cornered into this wall here. This is where we saw him get stripped down and get locked up. And these detectives right here have just spent 15 minutes or so going at him soft. And this is the part where they get him hard and they tell him what they have on him. So let's take a listen to this. This is the scumbag going down.
All the pictures that are on your phone. Understand what I'm saying? So you want to add to the list of pictures?
He just got through asking him what kind of pictures were on his phone.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, SeaWorld, he was giving him like a bed of roses. Like his phone is filled with love and joy and all kinds of nice stuff. And the detective here says it's a little bit loud because air conditioning's going. Do you want to tell us about really what was on your phone? Basically.
No. Should I be talking with a lawyer right now?
I can't. And I'm pretty sure you know what some of those pictures are about. What do you think was on the phone?
Text messages.
Mm-hmm.
Emails. Old stuff.
Pictures?
Yeah.
What kind of pictures were on there?
Training card pictures, lightsaber pictures, Disney pictures.
Bullshit.
Do you have a Google account?
Yeah.
Do you save pictures to your Google account?
Sometimes.
Or is it automatically? I know sometimes phones sync to a cloud and
Yeah. I think it backs up to Google.
here's where I'm going to be brutally honest with you.
You said there's pictures of Maddie on your phone.
And I'm pretty sure you know what some of those pictures are about. You're a very intelligent person. I don't want you to discredit yourself by saying you don't know about all the pictures that are on your phone. You understand what I'm saying? So do you want to add to the list of pictures?
No. Should I be talking with a lawyer right now?
I can't answer that question.
How appropriate was Truthfinder to come on the screen as he said, should I be speaking to a lawyer right now?
My sole purpose right now is to see if I can find, and I'm really hoping you can help me.
Okay. I'd like to try to help, but I feel like I should probably have a lawyer present at this point.
So you're wanting an attorney?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. That can happen. I want.
Now, Ron.
Listen to the sigh right here. He knew he was fucked at that point. Go ahead, Ed.
Now, was this before he was tipped off, or was it after that he got the tip from Maddie's mom that he should get a lawyer?
So I believe that Maddie's mom told him that he should get the lawyer before this because that was when they were searching the home. She told him, don't you think it's odd that they seized our home and they're doing a forensic scrub? So this arrest was after the night they spent in the hotel and everything. So this was before. She said it to him before this because she knew something was not right.
So he knew going into this that the gig was up.
Oh shit!
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
And
go.
she also told his father, right, to get him a lawyer.
Yes. She told him, and she told the father.
Mm-hmm.
So 1650. I'm gonna go to Jennifer Soto. Let's change gears. So this is the soft room of the interview. I don't know, Ant. Did you see some of this?
Yes.
Okay. How many of you guys in the chat? I think everybody here has seen it. I'll leave the closed caption on so you guys can hear what's being said.
030288.
0302. This is when she gets upset because it's her birthday the next day. This is 3/1 of 2024.
Yeah, my
She takes the really hard tissues, those really those.
It's not tissues, it's paper.
Yeah, paper towels, right? And she used them as tissues to blow her nose.
Birthday? It sounded like writing paper.
Huh?
It sounded like writing paper.
I thought it sounded like sandpaper.
It's for the live scan machine.
Yeah.
Today's the first.
So Jen Soto said this would be the worst birthday ever. And she cries for a short time. And then she recalls her conversations with Stephan Stearns that Monday morning after he said that he had dropped Maddie off for school.
What about not knowing where your daughter is for 2 days now? No, this is not somebody that's showing any concern. Like, hey, are you guys still out looking for her? Not not once in any of these interviews did I hear her. I was looking for her to say, "Hey, are there still search parties out? Where my Maddie is not? She's not here."
She's worried about her birthday, and she's worried about Stephan's lawyer.
Appointment, and he let me know, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I left my phone at home by accident. School, everything went great. She got up super early, got up really quick. She slept most of the way in the car. I asked her multiple times if she wanted McDonald's, but she said no. Because that was the plan, was that they were gonna stop at McDonald's that morning and go get breakfast." And he said that he had gone to the bake shop and they were closed, they didn't open. So he waited there for a while and left, and then said he was gonna go back later. When I saw him at the house, everything was normal. We were chatting, we were talking, he was acting normal. He was sitting in my computer chair just messing around on his phone. While we were hanging out, he mentioned something along the lines of, "Oh man, I've been avoiding this phone update for a really long time. I should probably update it now." And I said, "Do it, don't avoid it, just get it over with." And he updates his phone and then tells me, "Oh my God, I don't know what button I just pressed, but I just factory reset my entire phone." And I said, "How the hell does that happen? That gives you options now when you reset your phone?" He goes, "Yeah, apparently I wasn't paying attention and I just pressed the button and it happened." And I said, "Oh, that's unfortunate. That sucks." Later on, he tells me he's going to go back out, and I think this is around 12:30, 1 o'clock.
Of course, the cops think that Stephan Stearns factory reset his phone on purpose to get rid of those photographs. Now, it was on that trip out that Stephan Stearns said he got a flat tire. That flat tire, as I mentioned earlier, would lead to the discovery of Maddie's body at a farm because a man called in a tip saying he saw someone matching Stearns' description changing a flat at the farm where Maddie's body was found.
I want to stop it here because Ed and Amazing Ant, I want you guys to confirm how important this was. The police department, the Orange County Sheriff, and also the Kissimmee Police Department Police Chief Betty Holland held a joint press conference where they asked for help from the public at 2 o'clock on that fateful Friday that Maddie Soto was found. And they asked anybody to come forward with tips, and they gave a tip line. And they said, "We need the public to help us." But not only one person called, two people called, not just that man, a woman called who also saw Stephan Stearns changing a flat tire. So they got two tips. And at that point, at 2 o'clock in the afternoon on Friday, they did not have her remains recovered. But because of those tips, and that put them in that St. Cloud area where they discovered her body, the public helped find Maddie Soto. Ed, I'll go to you first. Actually, I'm going to you, Amazing Ant. You're a sergeant. How important is that?
100% crucial. We cannot do police work without the public. We have high-tech technology. We have high-tech forensics, and that's all important. But the public, the tip lines are what solves, I don't know percentage, but if I have to guess, 90% of these crimes off the bat, especially when they happen very close to the homicide. Would you agree, Ed, that within a few days, we have it up right away in New York, especially for the detectives like you, because then you know to call your resources, your helicopter, your aviation, the canines, the medical examiner, the ME, because now that they know he had a flat by a farm, they knew how to zone in and let me know if this is correct. I'm not a detective, but to zone in that whole span, that area, correct?
Yes, 100%. We cannot do our job without the public. We need those eyes and ears. We're supposed to be omnipresent, but we can't be. All right. So we can't be everywhere when we need to be. And so we need to rely on the help of the public.
100%, Ed, and thank you for that. You were not only outranked, you were out. We were being gentlemen. The ladies.
I was outclassed.
Yeah, you were outclassed. There you go. Let me finish this because now Jennifer Soto here now says that after she's confronted with the photographs of her daughter on his phone, and she's told the horrific things that Stephan Stearns is alleged to have done to her daughter, She now calls him dishonest and a thief. So let's take a listen to this.
The lies he's done to his parents.
The news station, the eve.
I had completely forgotten about him wanting to take the drive or that he actually did it. And it wasn't confirmed to me until the following day where agents came to the house and we sat in the car for a good amount of time. And I noticed the chair was adjusted. And I said, "Did you drive my car?" And he said, "Yeah, remember I said I was going out last night?" That's right, you did say that.
Now, on Wednesday of that week, Jen Soto said that she and Stearns spoke to reporters. She said she contacted a news station the evening she reported Maddie missing. But she said Stearns cried during one interview, actually breaking down and sobbing.
That was crocodile tears. We didn't see any tears come down his face. This was just a complete sham of an interview. We played this many times. I'm sure everybody has seen it. But essentially, he went back out with her car, the white Nissan. And I believe, and here's another prediction by me, and if I'm wrong, I'll fess up to it. But I believe Stephan Stearns went out that night, Monday night, and moved Maddie's body. Ed, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think so too. I think he didn't do a good enough job covering it up. And so he went back out and he probably, repositioned the body, covered it up a little more. And that's possibly the reason the dog may have hit on that car.
Yeah, we have video of the dog hitting on that car for human remains.
Cadaver dog.
Yes, cadaver dog. And I know you agree, you concur with that, Sarge, right?
Yes.
Thank you.
At the time I thought he was truly heartbroken and not that he had done all this shit to her. Like, I look back at shit now, I'm just like, he was fucking lying. He was fucking faking. What else has he been lying to me about? I know he's like a master liar and manipulator because he's done it to his parents and he's told me and shown me the lies he's done to his parents.
So if she knows that he's a master manipulator, master liar, why are you trusting him to go and sleep with your daughter? Why are you letting somebody that you know here, you're admitting that you know that he's a piece of shit. She's calling him all kinds of expletives. Why? Why are you doing that?
Well, it's just more evidence of, she's incriminating herself that she's an unfit mother.
Sarge?
Yes, Ed, I left that to you because I didn't want to start analyzing body language and playing detective. I always say that because I have to give the detectives the respect. I respect time over rank, just for the record, for everyone out there. I became a sergeant because of DutyRon and the guys in warrants, but secretly I always wanted to be a detective, and we were trained to always learn from the guys with time on the job. So I learned from the both of you. But allow me to get a little humanistic about this whole... Well, do you want to keep talking about the facts? Because I was going to talk about how she was preyed on by Stephan Stearns. And my thing is, I think she was getting benefits from him. He's resourceful and has money. And I hate to think like this. It made me nauseous. I think she knowingly allowed him to have sex with her daughter for the benefits. She was on disability. She has no skills. She's vulnerable. He preyed on her. And he used her daughter literally for his own benefit.
The only thing I don't agree with that with is that, like, he didn't have a job. He didn't have anything stable. He was not making money by the admissions of his father. His father said he couldn't even get him up to go to work when he worked for him.
But his parents had money and they were resourceful. So that was an insurance policy for her just in case. And therapists say bad attention is still attention.
You're perhaps right. He definitely, as she said here, he stole money from his father. He stole money and stole a watch from the father. He would buy, and she's going to go on to say here, if he wanted something expensive, he was looking for RC cars and so forth, he would get them. So somehow, without a job, without making any money, he was able to get all of this stuff. So,
including that thick, very expensive sex doll that he had.
Yes, that his mother thought was a real human torso and called the police and went running out of the house calling Maddie's name.
He was truly heartbroken and not that he had done all this shit to her. Like, I look back at shit now, I'm just like, he was fucking lying. He was fucking faking. What else has he been lying to me about? I know he's like a master liar and manipulator because he's done it to his parents, and he's told me and shown me the lies he's done to his parents. But I don't know why I never thought, not me.
The lies are about money. They're about where he's at, what he's doing.
He would never do that to me or my daughter. He would never be a master manipulator or a liar to us.
Was he?
Yeah, all that.
To his parents?
Yeah, he's stolen money from his parents. They used to have a few $1,000s hidden in like a closet for emergency fund kind of thing. And during COVID, he sold, like, he wanted RC cars. See, if he wants something, he's gonna get it, no matter what.
Now, one thing that the detectives can't seem to understand during this interview, and they try to get Jen Soto to explain, is her primary concern appearing to be for Stephan Stearns and not for Maddie. For instance, she suggested that Stephan Stearns get a lawyer.
I started saying to him, like, I think they're focusing in on you. Like, we need to call your dad, and I think we need to get you a lawyer. I feel like they're focusing on the wrong person. And he kept saying the same thing. He kept repeating what I was repeating. They're focusing on the wrong person. They're wasting time there.
How do you feel when you said he needs a lawyer?
He didn't believe me. Like, when I told him, like, Georgia C Forensics is closing down the house, they know something, or there's something, like, they know something. Something's happening. They wouldn't be locking down the house this way if they didn't have suspicions of something.
It's amazing at certain points, she seems so laser focused and sharp with her attention. But at certain times when she's cornered, when they ask her tough things, she breaks down and goes to the crutch of her disabilities. And here she's catching on, and she's admitting to these detectives, hey, I knew what was going on. I knew that there was something not right, but I didn't suspect it was him. I suspected it was somebody else. I mean, could she be alluding to her roommates? I don't know. She never mentions them here. So this is almost done. Let me let the rest of this play.
But I wasn't thinking, I don't know why I wasn't thinking him. Like, I was just like, no, they've got the wrong guy.
The detectives just can't believe this, and they turn up the heat on Jen Soto about this later in the interview.
The police have showed you their hand. They said, Stephan, we want your phone. Stephan, we want to talk to you. You're going to lock down your residence. You can't go back inside. Me? I don't care if it's the love of my life sitting next to me. I don't care if it's maternal grandma. If the police come and take my mom's phone, my son's disappearance, I'm not going to offer my mom a lawyer. That's nuts to me. That to me shows you prioritizing Stephan. Because at that point, you became more worried about him being falsely accused than
anything that happened to your daughter.
Does that make sense what I'm saying? Whether or not that's what you felt, does that make sense? People having lawyers is their constitutional right. That is a thing that everybody is afforded. But for somebody who's going through what you are going through, to offer him a lawyer leads me to believe that there may have been a conversation, there may have been knowledge, or there may have been some inclination that you had, whether it be his involvement, her location, or something to where in your mind there's guilt.
I promise you.
Because you offering him a lawyer is very weird.
I know. That was still me under the assumption that I think at one point you guys interviewed me, and when you guys showed me the picture of her, I believed the sexual stuff, but I didn't want to believe that he had done anything evil to her. I'm like, no, what if he did this stuff right?
I
believe the sexual stuff. You all caught that?
Yeah. So that's not evil.
Holy shit, Taki.
I don't believe he would do anything
Oh,
evil.
my Lanta.
Oh, my Lanta.
Sorry, Ed. I had to.
Yeah.
I can't stomach this.
I love it. Oh my God.
This is unbelievable. But this is why our community and everyone in the true crime community and anyone who watches us, no matter where you're watching from across the globe, you watch this and you're just like, how in God's name is she not shackled and brought in? How is she not locked up? How is she not arrested on child neglect charges? Forget about the murder. Forget about any other charges. But based on this and this alone, you have to say that this woman was an unfit mother. I mean,
Can I chime into this?
yeah, of course. That's why you're here.
No, because it's long and I don't want to go too long, but I wanted to say this. I came in strong. I came in out of the bullpen strong. So I apologize to everyone.
Okay,
but I'm going to put on my.
Anybody got the Mets score update? Please, if somebody in the chat could let me know what the score is of the Mets Brewers game.
Sarge,
please let me know.
continue.
Go ahead.
You know, Marianne. I'm going to put on my sergeant hat or my cop hat. What were we just talking about? I just got so heated for this. Hold on. Let's go back.
Talking about Jennifer Soto saying that
You came in so strong.
No, before that, just now. I just had the thought. It's on the tip of my tongue.
I'll back this up.
Stuff, but I didn't want to believe that he had done anything evil to her. I'm like,
oh,
no,
okay,
what
stop.
She believed the sexual stuff.
Maybe they're still working up the investigation. I mean, we don't know, but I will tell you this. This is what I want to say. I can't believe I'm going to defend the law and politics of New York City, but definitely we're used to seeing people like her arrested almost instantaneously for neglect, endangering the welfare of a child. Yes. And for those of you who don't understand what I'm talking about, I'll make it simple. I show up to any type of suspected child abuse. Doesn't matter your rank. Even as an EMT, because I was an EMT 9/11, right? We show up and we hear anything. And Joan, I want to thank Joan in the chat. Joan brought this up. Maddie told the school counselor she didn't feel comfortable at home. She didn't want to be at home. That school counselor had a legal obligation to report that. In New York,
mandated reporters. They're
mandated reporter. In New York, we're mandated reporters when a child describes or says anything that's uncomfortable. They just say the word and you report it. And in New York, they call it a scam report, suspected child abuse maltreatment form or medical form for those of us who worked on the ambulance. I did both. We document it. Now, on the backside, on the police side, we say it's CYA, right? But on the human side, we don't know what's going on behind closed doors. Sorry, my mouth. Regardless of culture, I don't care how religious you are. I don't care how atheistic you are. I don't care how Puerto Rican Jennifer Soto is. I don't care how white Stephan. This isn't about anything other than humanity.
Right.
The school should have reported just a concern. And then that notebook, that teacher or whoever her teachers were for 4 years, they're supposed to, inspect. We all know. I went to Catholic school, so we got hit for it. But they inspected the notebooks, right? Mm-hmm. No one saw that picture. Come on. We all know someone saw something. And like we say in New York, you see something, say something. We got to do that in our homes. We got to teach our kids, not just our kids. We got to teach the people who watch our kids, the grandparents. Something feels off, it's off. You'd rather go with the hunch than Maddie Soto being in the farm. 6 feet under.
If your gut is telling you something's wrong, then something's wrong. I can't tell you how many times when I was on patrol in the 7-0 precinct that, I went up on domestics or other calls for help, aided, whatever, and I see a child there and something didn't sit right with me. And then I start talking and I get more information. The next thing you know, I'm calling the sergeant and said, look, I want to pull this kid out of this house. All right. I want to call child services and get this kid out of this house. Something's not right here.
Ed, you said it right. And I'm not saying because I'm a sergeant, I'm actually being really serious. You said it right there. You said you called a sergeant. That's another thing I appreciate about the NYPD. With all the flaws we have and everything on the news, we do get it right with this. We have that paramilitary and we all joke. We're like, oh, the sergeant's problem now, right? We all joke. And then I show up and it is my problem. I'm all about solutions as a group. So I tell my squad, it's not about outranking. Together as a group, we all have a role. A lot of these departments outside of New York, and you see this, Ed, because you train a lot of these departments. A lot of these departments don't have a well-oiled machine the way we do, including the schools, to the minute a child says a certain word, call the number. You know what I mean? So, yeah. And even when they interviewed, I wanted to bring this up, and it's my last point. Angelina, the woman who lived in room 3, I saw it on another, crime show. They interviewed her. What?
I'm getting to it.
Oh, okay. So anyway,
No,
Ron, DutyRon will talk about it, but it's very important too for all of you who work where you work. Don't feel uncomfortable to ask for an appropriate translator, and don't feel uncomfortable to use Google Translate wherever you work. It doesn't have to be policing, because getting the story straight, and DutyRon's going to talk about it while he scrolls into it, is so important, because this woman was a vital witness. And I wanted you to touch base on this, Ed, as a detective for evidence. This woman was a verbal witness, that she witnessed time frame, and she pieced together a lot of stuff. And I think that the sergeants, when they interviewed the cops, should have had a sergeant there, because then at that point the sergeant's like, I want the detectives, I want homicide, I want all the cavalry to come and speak to this woman.
Yeah, 100%. I wanted the sergeant there to as a checks and balance to what I was seeing, right? And then I wanted the sergeant's input, and say, Sarge, take a stab at this and see if you're seeing the same thing I do, and do I have your permission to pull this child?
Yes, and Ed, we can't do our job without you. And I joke a lot, but I'm being really serious. When I say that we respect time on the job more than the rank, there's only 4,000 sergeants left in New York City, okay? And there's 20,000 cops. So the cops are really the front line out there, and then I'm out there with the cops. I was out there. You all have the experience. You respond to double the magnitude. I mean, I was a cop, so I worked near you in Brooklyn. So we're out there. You're the first eyes and ears. You see the no food in the refrigerator. You see the bedroom condition. So you help the sergeant understand what you see, and what you cannot do, we do for you in terms of getting resources that, because of procedure, you're not allowed to do certain things. So together we work, but because of your expertise, you help solve these crimes.
Yeah, 100%.
And save people's lives.
Here is the here's the roommate, and this is Vinny Politan from, I think he uploaded this today, but it was last night. Grizzly True Crime was on with him for the full hour, so kudos to Gizella. She was on with him with a retired DEA agent and another woman early on, I think a forensic psychologist. But this was an interesting 43 minutes to listen to. So shout out to all the Grizzlies that are out there. But here's Vinny. He does a great job of going over all the parts of this situation. But he talks about Angela. Is it Angelina? Yeah, it's Angelina. I think it's Angelina. But he mentions her here.
Ted Golden, I want to put this up on the screen. This is from apparently the night of the murder, according to prosecutors. Angelica, who's living in the house, stated that she went to sleep around 2:30.
All right, I was wrong. Angelica.
Which is when she was hearing noises coming from Stephan's room. She described the noises as if someone was putting stuff on a table, which in order for her to hear noises, it would have to be significant based upon the noise would have to travel through 2 closed doors and across a hallway. Is that significant to you?
So you have the roommate, as she refers to the folks in the house, hearing the significant noise. Ed, I'm going to go to you because you're a crime scene expert, and I hate to put the heavy lifting onto you. Ed, what would you make about this roommate hearing loud noises at 02:30? That's 2:30 in the morning, the night of. What does this tell us? Does this give us any insight as to the timing of when Madeline Soto maybe had been murdered here, Ed?
Well, I mean, you're trying to make that linkage there between 02:30, and then you go back to the mother's text at 1 a.m. I believe it was 1 a.m. she texted Stephan. 11:30. So Stephan was texted at 11:30 by mom about making sure she was asleep. Okay, and then you have this time frame between 11:30 and that what we just saw. And so, yeah, somewhere in there, something is occurring. Now, I wouldn't, give too much credence to, it must have been really loud. I mean, we're talking Florida, right? A lot of these houses have, the central air conditioning systems with ductwork. So if they're all on the same network, or they're all on the same ductwork, something that's occurring in that room, the sound can travel through the ductwork and into the other rooms. Okay. So I don't put too much credence into that, but it was loud enough to be noted. That's the key. Okay, that it was an unusual sound at 2:30 in the morning. Okay.
Right. Here's the Orange County forensics. They were present, and this was what Madeline's mom, Jennifer, talked about. And this is at the point where she was saying, "Oh, I think you need I think you need to contact a lawyer." And she called the dad, and she told Stephan this. But the Orange County forensics team, and I don't know if you know anything about Orange County, but they seem to be a decent sized department who dots their I's and cross their T's. They did these reports meticulously. They were very thorough and professional as it pertains to evidence collection. Ed, do you know anything about the Orange County sheriffs?
Oh yeah, I trained them.
You have trained them.
Yeah.
You are a badass, Ed.
Yeah.
Is there anybody that you haven't trained?
Yes.
Okay. Well, please get to work. No, as a matter of fact, stop working. I need you here more. Let's take a listen to this.
And collected numerous items of clothing with me. Here's look at this abuse evidence and collected numerous items of clothing and bedding, which were identified as being in contact with the victim during sexual abuse. Most of the items were collected from the downstairs bedroom and divided off sleeping area in the living room. Some additional items were collected from the upstairs bedroom, identified with a number 4 on the door.
So they're saying that a majority of the forensic evidence was taken from the makeshift partitioned Maddie's bedroom off of the kitchen and in the mother's room. Just some additional evidence where the pistol was taken, the sex. Some people are saying from the Grizzlies that it's a blow dryer that looked like one of those, I don't even know what they're called, but it's like some kind of male sex toy on the table.
His boxer shorts were found down there. Maddie's one crock was found there. The other crock was in the dumpster.
But can we opine from this, Ed, that a majority of the sex acts happened in the downstairs rooms and not so much from the upstairs, or would that be a reach?
Well, the information from the photograph suggesting it was in the downstairs rooms based upon the bedding and everything that's found downstairs.
Right. And a full forensic workup would constitute taking the entire bedding, taking pillows, pillowcases. Ed, I'll let you take it because you're the expert.
Yeah, remember we saw the paper bags coming out?
Right.
Mm-hmm. That's what would be in there.
There you go. I was trying to lead Ed into going into somewhere that would give our audience a little bit of
the clothing, the bedspread, the sheets. Hell, I'll take the top of the mattress too. I'll cut that right out.
So we don't know if they did that, but that would be pretty much routine of what you would do in a crime scene.
I mean, well, I also have forensic light sources, and I also have colorimetric tests that I could perform, searching for the presence of vaginal and seminal fluids and things of that nature. So, I mean, I can do a lot of chemical testing in there to search for that type of sexual violence evidence and so forth.
I want to also put out there that we've been saying this all along. There was released officially by the authorities that Madeline Soto was not pregnant. And I want to put that out there because I want to respect Maddie Soto so much. And there's so many people who really were stuck on that. And just a few weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, I heard in a press release that from law enforcement that she was in fact not pregnant. A lot of people said and speculated that Stephan Stern was told that she was pregnant, and that's why he killed her. I do believe that she was going to expose him, and she had enough of him, doing what he was doing to her, and she put her foot down on her 13th birthday, perhaps, or somewhere in that area. Maybe that was one of the reasons why in December he stopped coming around, because he shit himself when she told him, "I'm going to expose you and I've had enough." So Ed, you got something from Mel, our good friend from Canada?
Oh yeah. Oh, Canada. Yes. There's been times when, you'll see it in the interview where mother, daughter, boyfriend in the same bed with Maddie in between them, and Stephan is cuddling with Maddie. Okay.
Yeah.
So could it be possible that, yes, especially if the mother is on those kind of meds that knocks her out and she's oblivious to the world. I mean, the world could be coming down around her and she wouldn't know it. Could he have had sex with the daughter and while the mother was in that bed? Absolutely. I'd be searching that bedroom too. There's no doubt about it. Okay. And she's not always home. So there'd be plenty of time for her to be up there with him and the mother's not home.
Ed, I have a question. Angelica was interviewed.
Numerous items of clothing.
Sorry, go ahead.
Real quick, Angelica was interviewed in this other whatever show, and she said that in the morning when she woke up, Stephan came home and was cleaning tools in the kitchen table, and he was washing clothes, and she made sure she told the detectives, which was very brave of her. She goes, he never does laundry. She made sure she put that out there. And I thought that was brave because this is before they found Maddie. What happens with the clothes that she says he was washing? Will they still process even though he washed?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they'll take that clothes. And see, I had similar cases, but it was dealing with blood. Even though the clothes are washed, there still could be remnants of the evidence of that was on there, still there. But can you get DNA from it? Probably not. All right, it's probably done. But yes, that was an unusual thing. She testified. She gave a statement to that she saw him washing clothes, which he never does.
She was sworn under oath, according to the report that I read. Let's take a listen to this.
And believe it or not, I had a rookie officer with me. He could not question a young girl because it hit him so hard. But you understand how these things happen, especially when you're the one taking initial statements on the scene and you ask the right questions and you get legitimate answers. These were one of the girls, one of the adult females was her mother, and the other two were her aunt.
Ed, what do you make of this gun? This looks like actually the magazine. It looks like it's dented here, right? This is the top.
No, I just think that's the way it's tapered to fit inside the magazine well. It looks like a Hornady hollow point, a critical.
I think they said it was a 6 hour, the weapon, but
no, the ammo.
Yeah, it could be. Yep, you're right.
9mm Hornady. It looks like critical defense or something like that.
With them during the nighttime, and then he finally ended up in the bed with a 10-year-old that he was able to convince to allow him to do certain things to her, all of them in an effort to try to have sex.
Can you go back to that?
Yeah, I'm trying. Stop breathing down my neck.
And the other two were her aunts.
No, let me see the top. Yeah. Kind of looks like this.
See, Ed's got one. Look.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do a
I'll
side
go
by
get mine,
side.
Ed.
Hold on. Let's do a side by side with Wallace.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
See that red tip? See the red tip at the end of the
Mm-hmm.
yeah. That would be that.
All right, I want to get to the 4120 mark. Hold on. Okay.
Prosecutors. Angelica, again, one of the
Finally ended up in the bed with a 10-year-old that he was able to convince to allow him to do certain things to her while everyone else in the house was asleep.
I want to put this up because this is from the morning of the murder, according to prosecutors. Angelica, again, one of the people living in the home, stated she saw Stephan in the residence at that time. Angelica said Stephan was acting odd and going upstairs and downstairs and in and out of the apartment that morning. Stephan was also washing clothes, which she has never seen him do. Yeah, he's a slob.
I love that he said that he's a slob. Thank you for that, amazing aunt, for pointing that out. I had it all in part of my whole thing here. I'm a one-man show when it comes to all of this stuff. Hey, I want to thank everybody. It's an hour and 30 minutes. Yeah. Hashtag Ed, hashtag DutyRon, hashtag what can we do? Just Ant. It's easy, A-N-T. Put your questions in the chat because I think it's fair that we go to the chat. There's over 2,000 people in here. I want to go over to super chats. Ed, keep an eye on the chats while I do this because there's a lot of them. Jeannie, thank you for becoming a new member. Diane B, a member for 50 months. That's my neighbor across the street. She says, hey, DutyRon and Ed, thank you. Keeping it real. Thanks for the $10 super chat. Yarn Barth, a member for over 26 months. You're the best. I love you both. We love you right back. Keep on yarning, Yarn Barth. Dawn Marie, member for 52 freaking months. Appreciate Ed, Ron, and Amazing Aunt. Thank you also. KB, member for 6 months. Hello, everyone. Yes, I think she's guilty. Heaven Reigns, member for over 29 months. Love you, DutyRon and Ed. We love you right back. Stephanie from Canada says she's a member for 16 months. Love you, Ed and Ron. Nancy D, 10 beans. Thank you. I think Jen was with him, maybe gave her to other perverts for money.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't doubt anything with this woman and this guy. Vicky, thank you for gifting 5 memberships. Coffee Cakes, member for 4 months. Jennifer had zero business being a mother. I agree wholeheartedly with that. Emily Parkinson's says after that last interview, she knew it all, in my opinion. You're probably right. Mari Brown, $2 super chat. Outraged, yes, but I think she was groomed too. Yeah, perhaps. Curious Kiwi, thank you for being a member for 19 months. Preach it, Aunt. Speaking what we're all thinking. So Curious Kiwi is with you on that. Love from Maddie, says Cat H. Thank you. Evie, great friend, gifted 5 memberships. Thank you so much, Evie. And shout out to the History Chick. That's her daughter on Instagram. She helps my son with all his music. History Chick is great. Go check her out. Look who it is. Schmitty Schmacks.
Hi, Schmitty.
Member for 35 months. Jen gives me gas. He never says Maddie's name. Yeah, she's really nasty. And she has zero empathy and zero love for her daughter. It's sickening. YouTube Bad Actors, member for over a month, says DutyRon and Ed and Dawn Marie. Thank you for that. Ed, did you see anything in the chat? I gave you an assignment.
Yes, I didn't see any questions. I'm just looking.
Nothing. Oh.
I think I scared everyone.
You didn't scare anybody. Everybody loved your input. I have one more thing, and I know we got to wrap it up, but I want to say thank you to the replay viewers, the moderators, the super chatters, the folks who support us through buying cups of coffee, our Patreon. You don't know how important Patreon support and the buy me a cup of coffee, Amazon shoppers, the people use our Amazon link every month. Black Rose 11 does that all the time, all day, every day. She buys cosmetics, all her things that she gets every month from Amazon on our link, and we get a small percentage of that. So thank you, Black Rose 11, for being a friend. The horse shack has nothing of substance. Ed, horse shack has nothing of substance.
Okay, someone translate this for me. Smitty, what do you say? I don't understand. I lost it.
I don't know. I don't know what she's.
What is the horse shack? Who's she calling the horse shack?
Eileen says, hashtag, when will they arrest her? Everybody wants Jen Soto arrested. Katina, thank you. We all want her arrested. Ed is not going to let that go, by the way, Schmitty. So you better come strong back with an answer for that. Jennifer Nobles has been a platinum member. That's the highest tier member for freaking like 4 years. Like no joke, 3 years or more, 4 years. Jennifer Nobles, a humongous supporter of Crime Time with DutyRon and Ed Wallace, and I met her through Sincere and Classic, Orrin and Orson West, the missing boys from California City. So I love you, Jen, and appreciate you tremendously. Scan in the chat. Don't see any questions. I guess nobody wants to pick our brains. Let me go to you, Amazing Aunt, on final thoughts on Jennifer Soto. Will she be arrested? Should she be arrested, Sarge? I'm putting this on you, boss.
100%. I don't shake out. Something's coming down, and I can't wait to see it and be there for it.
Yeah, baby.
Madeline Soto, her mom, not a mom. I don't even know if we can call Jennifer Soto Madeline Soto's mother. I don't think it's even proper to call her that. Ed, what are you thinking? What's the game here? What is the DA doing? It's not the police. It's not the investigators. I guarantee you these guys who have interviewed her are pissed. They want her ass locked up. I feel it's the DA. Your thoughts, Ed?
Yeah. There's plenty of evidence to lock her up right now. I mean, she's incriminated herself in numerous statements, both to the police and to the press. So I don't understand it. What are they waiting for? Has she given them a proffer to for her testimony. I mean, do they really think they need her testimony given the amount of evidence that they have now against Stephan?
And I believe that they did give her, in one of the interviews that they did with her, they gave her, I forgot the exact wording, but they basically said, nothing that you say here could be used against you. Whatever you say here is just to help us. Some type of immunity. I don't remember that Florida uses a different term for it.
DutyRon, someone in the chat asked the question, will she have immunity? It came up about 15 minutes ago. They asked about immunity.
Well, she got it in one of the interviews.
Okay.
It doesn't mean that she has it across the board for every interview that
Yeah, it wasn't blanket.
In that particular one where the district attorney investigator came out there and talked to her, I believe that it was on record. She had an attorney present. We know about that. But that doesn't give her blanket, as Ed says, immunity. And Sweets, as a member, says, Ed, if she's selling her daughter's pictures / videos, can they find them? Oh, hell yeah.
I think he, if he is selling, if he was selling, so if Stephan was selling them or the mother, it doesn't matter. They have to do. They have to see what sites that he visited, because there are known pedophilia sites that you can that they're out there, and maybe it was on there, and yeah, they'll do some searching and see if they if poor Maddie's picture is out there.
There it is, derivative immunity. Yeah. So, again, every state uses a different terminology for it. She got that in that one particular interview. Yeah. If anything's being sold, that's going to be extra charge. But let me just say this, and I said it before: Stephan Stearns, just based on the sexual nature of his crimes in the state of Florida, perpetrated allegedly, again, innocent until proven guilty, perpetrated against Madeline Soto, gets him the death penalty under Florida state law. The death, the murder of Madeline Soto, premeditated, is also death, capital punishment, death penalty qualified. They're going after him for that. So his ship is sunk. It's going to take a major screw up in a lot of aspects of this investigation to get him off. And I don't see that happening. I would bet my pension on it. You guys hear me say this a lot, and I've never lost my pension yet, thank God. But I would bet my pension on it that Stephan Stearns is going to be fried under. He's gonna be cellmates with Wade Wilson, the other heinous murderer that we've been covering. So Wade Wilson and Stephan Stearns will be cellmates eventually in that death row pod over in Union Correctional Facility in Ralford, Florida. But my thing is there's a lot of work that was done that we don't know about, that we will hear at trial, and we will have these ooh and ah moments, because if you think you got a lot of info now, they don't just open the books and say, here, let's get everything out there. That doesn't happen. We are getting a lot of info, and we can consider ourselves lucky that we're getting this information. But there's a shitload of evidence that they have against Stephan Stearns that they're not releasing, and perhaps Madeline Soto, Jennifer Soto as well, Madeline's mom, and I don't even like to call her the mom. But you know what? How could we even think that the state would use Jennifer Soto as a star witness? I heard Vinnie Politan say that. I love the guy. He's my friend. But I cannot see a prosecutor feeling comfortable about putting a flip-flopping, wishy-washy, pill-popping, mentally unstable person like Jennifer Soto on the stand as a star witness. That was his words. In that 43-minute clip with Grizzly True Crime, he called Jennifer Soto a star witness for the state. I say, oh, hell no to that. I hit that button.
Oh, hell no.
What do you guys think on the panel here?
Ladies first.
Age before beauty. You go first.
Woof. Damn, you went there.
I had to lighten it up.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's too much of a risk. She has too much liability. Okay. And I'm still not convinced she's not a part of the whole thing.
Exactly.
Me neither.
Maybe she's accessory. I'm hoping within the next month or this next court date, something will come up and they'll release and they'll consider, charges for something.
A lot of times district attorneys and the investigators will make somebody feel comfortable before they hit them with the hammer. Before that
Exactly.
hammer comes down, they want to get them at their nice and easy. I'm good. No, they told me I'm golden. I'm good. And people are asking in the chat, where is Jennifer Soto? I don't know. I don't encourage anybody to go and try to find her either. Leave her alone.
You know, in chemistry, there are a lot of chemicals that you should not mix together because they'll go boom in your face. Well, these two toxic people are just like that. You know, when you put them together, bad things happen. In this case, it happened to poor Maddie.
Yeah. And the investigator said to Jennifer Soto that we have, with the Google Drives and all of the evidence from Stephan Stearns, evidence on paper going back to 2020. So for 4 years, they know from the videos and pictures depicted on his Google Drives and his devices that he's been sexually abusing Madeline Soto. But he said, we don't know how much further in the past, because what about the things he didn't video and record? What about the stuff he was doing in the beginning? Did he work up into the boldness of making videos and recording all of this lewd and lascivious behavior, this crazy, despicable, disgusting behavior? I hope Stephan Stearns does not have one good day for the rest of his life until he meets his maker, until that needle gets pumped into his arm or the electric chair. He has his choice. The inmates in the state of Florida have the choice of two. And until those two choices, one of those two are utilized, I hope he doesn't have one good day. I hope he doesn't have one good day, because he's a piece of human garbage. I want to thank all of the replay viewers, the moderators, and my special guest, Amazing Aunt. You are amazing. You know, the bond that we have through the brotherhood and the sisterhood of the police department is never going to be broken. And what you've done for me and my family, and what I've done with you on the police department professionally, I'll never forget it. And I thank you for your love and support that you've given me in many difficult times. And we've both been through it together. So thank you.
Likewise. Thank you for having me. And Ed, I'm glad to meet you here. I met Tim Acosta at the World Trade Center and knew about you before I even met you. So I love that we can all connect because of the NYPD and because of God. And I just wanted to say to our Jewish friends out there, most are not online. I don't know, they may not be here because they're celebrating, but it's a new year. And I pray in the spirit of the new year, a sweet year, a hope-filled year. And most importantly, to everyone out there, my platform is not only to get justice, but to bring peace to people's lives, one person at a time, one day at a time, the way people like Ron have for me. And Ed, welcome to the circle. And I'm praying for peace in our lives and for the world.
Amen.
Amen.
Happy Rosh Hashanah.
Yes.
Thank you. Happy Rosh Hashanah.
October is a domestic violence awareness month. So I have down below, not only just for the case that we're covering right now, but October is domestic violence awareness month. So if you know somebody who's going through it, reach out to them, get them the support and the help that they may need. Reach out. Here's the National Domestic Violence Hotline scrolling along the bottom. You know, domestic violence is, you know, a real serious thing, because it takes so many men and women, predominantly women's lives, throughout the course of our year, worldwide. It's not just here in the United States. It's not a United States thing. It's a worldwide human thing. So reach out to your friends and folks that you might think are going through it. I'm sending strength, prayers, and positive vibes to the investigators on this Madeline Soto case, and all of the family who are suffering, the family and friends. Don't forget, Maddie had many friends in school that are hurting, young girls and boys who are just confused and just don't understand the process. And it's a lot for them to take in. So sending strength, prayers, and positive vibes. Ed, I know you always got something to say, so I'll let you end this thing.
Well, folks, thanks for spending so much time with us tonight. We're close to 2 hours almost.
Hour and 45.
Yeah, I'm going to give my OT slip to the Sarge to sign. I'm taking cash, Ron. All right, no time. Okay. So thanks for sharing your time with us tonight. I know you can get your true crime fix anywhere you want on the internet. Thanks for spreading the word about Ron and I, and growing our family here at our True Crime channel. And always, as always, I can't say it enough, always stay safe, stay prepared, and watch your six.
Amen to that, brother. And good night from New York and New Jersey. I don't know where Amazing Ann is. She said she's at an undisclosed location.
PA, Pennsylvania.
Oh, so we got New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania, the tri-state. We're just missing Connecticut in that one.
I'll do that next time.
And I got carry permits in all 3 states.
And Ed Wallace is a jack of all trades. We got to get Schmitty to clarify the comment. I don't think she did.
Well,
So,
I know who Horshack is from Welcome Back, Carter, but
yeah,
yeah.
Stand by for a message from the cop team. And Amazing Ant, just hang out just for 1 minute. Peace and love. Good night from New York.